Hello friends, in this video I am going to explain some essential features of object-oriented programming. So object-oriented programming has some essential features. We will just enumerate one by one those features and get back to you by explaining each feature of the object-oriented programming paradigm. So object-oriented programming has some basic features or essential features rather. I will just jot it down, I will write it down and get back to you. Let me write down the number one feature, that is encapsulation. These essential features of these object-oriented programming helps us to differentiate this paradigm with that of the procedure-oriented programming, as an example of that can be thought of as the programming in C language. But basically this we are going to deal with C++ now, and this is an introductory part of our discourse to C++. So we will just get on with the essential features of the object-oriented programming in order to get into the get deep inside the C++ programming language. So this first essential feature is encapsulation. Encapsulation is an essential feature, which means that the data and functions are both enclosed or encapsulated in a unit called a class. That is, all the data pertaining to a particular thing, suppose the data and the operations performed on the data, that is the functions, all the data and the functions are to be encapsulated or to be encased or ensheathed into a unit, a basic unit called a class, of which there should be some instances to that class, and those instances are nothing but examples of that class, and those are called the objects. So that is the basic concept of the object-oriented programming, that is we deal with objects and do not deal with procedure as such, as in the case of the function-oriented programming or procedure-oriented programming, as is the programming in C. So this basically helps us to emulate the real world situation. That is, if we want to understand the real world scenario, we can take the help of the object-oriented programming methodology, which can be, there can be many examples of such, that is the C++, Java, etc. So we are going to deal with the C++ first and then come back to the core discourse of Java. So now the encapsulation is nothing but, I will just write it down a little bit, that is wrapping up of data and functions, in a single unit. This is the classical definition of encapsulation: wrapping up of data and functions in a single unit called class. So this is nothing but the definition of encapsulation, that is, we encapsulate, we encase, we wrap the data and functions all into the same unit, and that basic unit, that basic single unit, is nothing but the class. And every other example and all other examples created from this class or instances created from this class are called the class variables or objects. So suppose if we just say like this, suppose a class definition can be like this: class XYZ, and it will contain some data and some functions to operate on those data. It will contain some data variables which are called member variables, like this. Suppose I am writing like this: int A B, char C, and then I will write public. You will get to know the meaning of this public, private, etc. Later on in our discourse. So now let me write this, a little bit of snippet to make you understand what the class looks like. Public any function, suppose suppose void get data, void get data, void put data. So this is nothing but a class definition. The class is named as XYZ. I have taken 3 variables, 2 of which are integer variables and 1 is a character variable, and I have declared 2 functions under the public section, that is void get data, void put data. These are nothing but like prototypes of the functions, which will we will expand this function in the function definition section later in the program if you write the entire program. Now I am going to just show you the structure of a class, and this class contains, suppose this class contains these data members. These are called data members or member variables, data member or member variables, and these 2 are supposed to be member functions. Member functions. So data members or member variables are these 3, and these 2 are called member functions, and these member functions act on these data, and if we want to access these functions to manipulate on the data or to retrieve some value of the data or to set some value to the data, we will invoke that function, these functions, with the help of an object which is to be declared or which is to be created for this class XYZ or any other class maybe. So this wrapping of data and functions means we are wrapping all these things, that is data and functions, both of them in a single unit, and this single unit is nothing but the class. So this is the concept of encapsulation, that is wrapping up of data and functions into a single unit called class. So if you have any doubts and queries pertaining to this section, you can well post your doubts and queries into the comment section below so that I can address them. Thanks for watching this video.